Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Podcast, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. My name is Jonathan, a commissioner here at Masters Fantasy Leagues. I've been doing this for over a decade now. A little bit of Masters information to pass along before we jump into today's show. Currently running live drafts 7 days a week. Current schedule, we're starting every day at 2 p.m. all the way to midnight. Later in the week, starting this weekend, we'll be starting to run drafts at noon. And as we get closer to kickoff, even on Thursday, kickoff Thursday, we got drafts all the way at 9 a.m. in the morning. So you can wake up, have some bacon and eggs, and run a draft with me. Might be a little tired, but I'll still be on my A game and help you guys get in your drafts. Just wanted to pass it along to over 700 dynasty leagues here at Masters Fantasy Leagues. We've never folded a single one, have no intentions of doing so. So come build your stack dynasty team here at Masters. I promise, we'll get your league filled no matter how good your team is. All right, but let's jump into the show and what we're here to talk about. I'm going to be taking a look at some wide receivers I think are set to take a huge jump this year, possibly all the way into the top 5 at the wide receiver position. We've seen this the last 2 years. Guys get a new quarterback, change the scenery, and off they go. 2 years ago, we seen it with Stephon Diggs hooking up with Josh Allen. I think he finished 3 that year. Little drop off last year, but I mean, we all know what to expect from Diggs and what we're all expecting from him this season and the next couple of years. Next guy on the list, Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford obviously becomes a Ram last year. Triple Crown winner, probably the most impressive season we've ever seen at the wide receiver position. I think a couple of these guys on the list could be in for a similar situation this year. Let's start at the top of the list. My favorite one personally is going to be Matt Ryan going to the Colts, linking up with Michael Pittman, top 20 wide receiver last year. He's got all the tools. I think this is probably the most complete team Matt Ryan's ever played on. Best offensive line, best running game. Feels like it's been 20 years we've seen Matt Ryan carry a number 1 wide receiver, going back to Roddy White, Julio Jones. I think Michael Pittman is just the next one in line. Big things coming from Michael Pittman this year. And I think probably my favorite one of these guys out of the list that could jump into the top 5 this year. Although he's 1A, this next guy's 1B for me. That's going to be Juju Smith-Schuster. Probably goes from the worst quarterback in the league to the best quarterback in the league. No offense to you Josh Allen fans. It's close between those two, but for me, I'm still giving Mahomes the edge. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's out of town. Kelsey should lead the team in targets. Having said that, though, Kelsey a little older. I think Juju's 25 years old. This is a guy, man, with all the potential in the world to possibly be a top 10, maybe a top 5 wide receiver. I think the sky's the limit for Juju. He's a guy I really got my eye on. A guy going like 5th, 6th round in redraft leagues. Can still get him pretty cheap in dynasty leagues too. Definitely a guy I think that has the potential to, take that lead a la Diggs and Kupp. Next 2 guys on the list here, and actually get 2 for this team. Both guys I think are set up to have a huge season. It's going to be Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy with the Denver Broncos. Obviously, Russell Wilson is their new quarterback. Huge upgrade at quarterback this season. And one of the things I really like about it is we've seen Russell Wilson carry, 2 fantasy relevant wide receivers before. Obviously, DK Metcalf and Lockett. I think very similar situation with these 2 wide receivers in Denver. I think both are set for a huge season in fantasy this year. I'm still a little torn between who's going to be the 1 and who's going to be the 2, or maybe is it more just like a 1A, 1B situation with no clear 1? And maybe if you have an idea at home, drop a comment. Let me know who you think is going to be the number 1 in Denver. And another, I've watched both these guys in trades too, both still fairly cheap. Guys that you're not paying, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs prices for. I mean, who have the potential with Russell Wilson to be a true number 1 wide receiver in the league. All right, next guy on the list is going to be A.J. Brown. Goes to Philly to link up with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, a lot of mixed reviews with Jalen Hurts. His arm potential is, his true quarterback potential in a passing offense, obviously a dual threat. It's going to be really interesting to see this year. I do think it's a huge upgrade at quarterback, even with the doubts. I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill guy. Apologize if there are any Ryan Tannehill fans out there. I personally never met one. So I think it's a clear upgrade for him at quarterback. I'm expecting big things out of A.J. Brown this year. Another guy, right in line with these other guys, new quarterback, new system, new offense, going to be interesting to see. Next guy on the list is going to be DJ Moore. Looks like Baker Mayfield's going to be the starter in Carolina. DJ Moore, a guy that's just produced year after year after year with subpar quarterback play. I do think Baker Mayfield is going to be the best quarterback he's ever played with. And not only that, I'm motivated Baker Mayfield. Very interesting situation in Carolina. Baker Mayfield's flashed, man. Look, I'm a Browns fan. I've watched almost every Baker Mayfield game there is. And although he's careless with the ball at times, his decision making can be questionable at times. When he's hot, man. Baker's had some good games. Obviously broke the rookie record for touchdowns. And like I said, Baker's a guy that kind of plays with his heart on his sleeve anyway. I expect to see a fired up Baker Mayfield this year. I think that's going to lead to big numbers for DJ Moore. And just a prediction, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there now. I think DJ Moore, 4 touchdowns, I believe, last year, and just not a guy that's got in the end zone a ton over his whole career. I do think that's going to change this year. I think we'll see more touchdowns from DJ Moore this year than we've ever seen in any of the past years. So he's definitely due for a big uptick in fantasy points. Next guy on the list is going to be actually Terry McLaurin. And I know I kind of threw Carson Wentz, under the bus a little bit, saying that Matt Ryan was a huge upgrade. And I do think Matt Ryan was a big upgrade. Having said that, I still think Wentz is an upgrade over Heineke. I think, if this guy, if he can get his head right, if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, I think McLaurin's another guy who's going to have probably his best season yet to date. And then the last one, this one's kind of a shocker. Definitely the oldest guy on the list, probably the oldest wide receiver in the NFL, Julio Jones, man, hooking up with Tom Brady. The GOAT, obviously. A lot of people think Julio Jones may be the best wide receiver to ever play in the NFL, too. So kind of a GOAT to GOAT connection going on there. I mean, at Julio's age, I don't think that he could crack into the top 10, the top 5, but I do think, a resurgence for sure could happen this year. So keep an eye on Julio. I think he's a guy's probably on waivers in a lot of leagues, especially dynasty leagues. I do think he's a guy you can pick up and use, especially early in the season if Godwin's hurt. So that's it. That's my list of guys. I couldn't think of anybody else unless I missed one. If I did, maybe leave it in the comments and let me know. All these wide receivers, new quarterbacks, new situations. Look back at the last 2 years, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs. I mean, both took off, man. As soon as this happened, I think all these guys are in line for a similar situation. I think all of them will improve. Just not sure which one out of the list is going to be the top 5, maybe the number 1 guy. So, hey, if you could, man, in the comments, tell me which one of these guys you like the best. Which one do you think will have the most improved season? As always, if you could, hit the like and subscribe button. Love for you to come be a part of the Masters family. That's all I got, guys.